Okay, good morning, Chapter 15 and guests. My name is Sherring. I'm an architect with MarxF, and thank you for your time this morning. I'm going to give a short presentation on our work and how you can help us. Could I have the next slide? So, looking ahead, I want to talk about our experience. Most importantly, what a good referral is. And then we're going to take a look at some projects and some case studies. Next slide, please. So this is my better half. This is us at the top of Mount Marcy in the Adirondacks. And whoop, these are our kids. And back into Mount. Okay. So these are our kids on their way to their summer vacation. That's Alexander asleep on the right and Zoe laughing at Alexander because he's sleeping. Next, please. Okay, before I came to the US, as many of you know, I grew up in the UK. I am an immigrant, and then I moved on to Finland. And after that, lived in Germany for 8 years. I came to the US in the year 2000. And this is the Adirondacks in the background. Next slide, please. Next slide. Well, could we go back one? Okay, so our offices are now located in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. Many of you know we were in Dumbo, and as of 2 weeks ago, we relocated to the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So that's a bit of a learning curve for us, but the office is up and running and we're ready to work. Next slide, please. So our office has a lot of experience in both the townhouse and hotel world. We have renovated many townhouses throughout Manhattan, the West Village, the Upper West Side, Murray Hill, and over in Brooklyn Heights. We're currently working with several hotel brands. Hilton, who we developed a canopy brand, which is a brand that's been opened up across the States and is actually an international brand now. Virgin Hotels, who we're working with on a project in Midtown Manhattan and also Nashville. Virgin has a hotel open now in San Francisco, and it's a relatively new idea for the Virgin Group. And we also work with Kimpton Hotels and Indigo. Next slide, please. So how can you help us? Next, please. Here are some good referrals. So X, Y, and Z of townhouse clients. Well, it may seem strange in these times, but suburban empty nesters returning to New York City are a very good referral for us. They need the space. They're used to having their own house, and townhouses are a wonderful option. Secondly, developers specializing in flipping townhouses. And then, of course, current owners of townhouses making alterations and additions. Next. Hospitality clients. Generally, we work with real estate developers who may be packaging a hotel project in a larger development. We also work with hotel chains who are developing new brands. And then again, established hotels that maybe want to reboot and have a new look on their current hotel. This is a view of Mount Marcy from the base. Next slide, please. And this is the view 4 hours later from the top of Mount Marcy. Next, please. So, townhouses and landmarks. This is really a lot about detective work these days. Next slide, please. This is West Village townhouse we're currently working on. It was built in 1844. And it used to resemble the townhouse to the right in this photograph. But in 1920, the building was completely altered. It was taken from a townhouse to become a multi-family dwelling. And as you can see, there's no stoop, there's no brickwork, and there's an additional floor on the roof. Next, please. So working with landmarks now, their attitude towards this property is that the alteration in 1920, because it occurred during a movement of artists in the village, and the building has an artist's loft, that they feel that now in its current state, it's historically more important than if we were to return it to its 1844 appearance. Next slide, please. And so on the left, you can see the artist's loft. And then obviously on the right is the front door to the multiple dwelling that replaced the stoop. Next, please. And this is the rear, which has had multiple alterations over time. And most importantly, on the rear, on the second level that we're looking at here, this is known as a T-porch, and this is a historical artifact now. There are relatively few T-porches left in the village, and so Landmarks is very keen that we find a way of working with that vocabulary. Next slide, please. And these are some of the documents that we use. On the left is a block plan from 1904. And you'll see the colors are pink and yellow. The yellow represents wooden construction. The pink is masonry construction. This was used by the fire department, so they knew what properties were built of across the city. And on the right is a 1940 tax photo, which is also an important document as to the appearance and history of properties. Next, please. So before going to landmarks, we need to prepare a zoning study to show that the floor area fits the site. We need to produce foundation plans, and we need to produce a soil report. And these are the guys actually doing a soil boring in the backyard at that property. Next slide, please. So this was an initial proposal for that site. Next slide. And from the rear, also initial proposal. And we're working with landmarks and making adjustments as we go. Next, please. So townhouses are usually made of parts, and clients often wonder, where is all the money going? Next slide, please. Usually the kitchen is a very important part of a townhouse development, and a lot of money goes there. Next slide, please. One of the most important features of a townhouse is the stair, and we try to work with existing staircases as much as possible and then renovate them and make them structurally stable. Next, please. This is the open living area. Next. And at the garden level, this is a den. One of the biggest conundrums with townhouses is the kitchen on the garden level, or is the kitchen on the parlor level? In this case, it's in the garden level, but our clients are pretty much 50-50 on this. Next, please. And this is the master, and next, the master bathroom. Whether a property is to be sold or whether it's to be lived in, these are the most important spaces in a project. Next, please. Hotels, next. Obviously, our focus on hotels is the lobby area, next. The bar area, next. The open public areas, next. Again, the bar restaurant in Colorado, a resort in Mexico, next. This is Mountain Shadow in Scottsdale, Arizona, also a resort, next. And of course, the guest room is the most important part of the hotel. Next, please. And Virgin Hotel, which hopefully COVID pending and construction pending will be open again soon. Thank you. Next. Reminder of our best clients: suburban empty nesters returning to New York City, developers specializing in flipping townhouses, owners making alterations to existing townhouses. Next. And hospitality, real estate developers, hotel chains, and existing hotel owners. Next, please. Thank you.